If you have been following the recent invasion of Ukraine, you would know that Elon Musk has interfered and that Russia is not happy about it. This episode will tell you about Elon Musk's stance and what he has done so far. Watch until the end of the video to find out how Elon Musk has declared war on Russia. Recently, the US Air Force took immediate measures towards Russia's refusal to supply rocket engines. Guess what? Elon Musk taunts Russia for this action. Russia said that it would stop supplying rocket engines to the United States in response to sanctions imposed on it for invading Ukraine. Also, Musk has swiftly reacted to the attack of the head of Roscosmos, Dmitry Rogozin. The founder and CEO of SpaceX taunted the Russian official with a short tweet of 2 words, American broom. After the US sanctions on Russian cosmonautics, Dmitry Rogozin said, and we quote, "Let them fly into space on their brooms." After that, Musk responded. The SpaceX founder makes a fool of Rogozin by showing what the American broom looks like. This is the most advanced and most reliable Falcon 9 launch vehicle. Musk showed an apparent reference, commenting on the recent launch of the Falcon 9 launch vehicles, which successfully launched a new batch of 47 Starlink satellites into orbit. Earlier, the head of Roscosmos, Dmitry Rogozin, stated that Russia was terminating the deal of supplying RD-181 engines used in the first phase of the Antares rocket to the United States. Also, they would not serve the previous RD-180 engines supplied to the United States, used in the first stage of Atlas missiles. We have a contract. It was planned to additionally supply 12 RD-181 engines in 2022 to 24. Negotiations were held on the supply of RD-181 engines with improved characteristics, but we believe that we cannot continue to supply the United States with our best rocket engines in the world in this situation. Frank Kendall, U.S. Air Force Secretary, stated in Space News Reports that the national security of the United States will not be threatened by Russia's refusal to supply and maintain rocket engines. He told reporters on March 3rd that the main point of the program that we launched a few years ago is a departure from RD-180 engines, and at the moment there has been information of serious concerns related to Dmitry Rogozin's recent decision. According to Tony Bruno, the executive director of United Launch Alliance, ULA, the company has its specialists capable of servicing the supplied RD-180 engines. Also, Musk pokes at Russian officials after SpaceX made Starlink internet terminals available to Ukraine. He slyly tweeted that his firm intervened to help the local population, only after it experienced strange service disruptions during Russia's invasion. Musk has been supportive of Ukraine so far. Musk's SpaceX provided Starlink terminals upon the request of Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister Mikhail Fedorov. Ukrainian officials stated that the residents of the country could lose access to reliable internet during the Russian invasion. This included attacks on their crucial infrastructure. The civil intranet of Ukraine experienced strange disruptions due to bad weather. Therefore, SpaceX helped in fixing it. In a tweet, Musk has urged Ukrainians to be careful when communicating via Starlink, acknowledging that the Russian military may target terminals in the coming days. Important warning, Starlink is the only non-Russian communication system still operating in some parts of Ukraine, so the likelihood that it will become a target is high. Please use with caution, Musk said. In addition, he said, Ukrainians should turn on Starlink only when it is necessary and place the antenna as far away from people as possible. His tweet about lousy weather responded to a Twitter follower's translation of obvious criticism from Roscosmos CEO Dmitry Rogozin during a speech on Russian state television. Although Rogozin isn't the head of the Russian space agency, he allegedly slammed Musk for helping Ukraine during the invasion. He alleged that Musk chose sides in the ongoing invasion. John Kirby, the Pentagon spokesman, has also denied that the US military helped SpaceX deliver Starlink terminals to Ukraine. Fedorov thanked Musk for his support when the terminals arrived in Ukraine, noting that Starlink maintains communication between our cities and emergency services save lives. Musk has been responding to the Russian invasion of Ukraine verbally and communicating via Twitter. Musk has been a man of his words. This confirmation was made by Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. Rogozin early opined that the International Space Station could fall out of orbit if Russia refused to cooperate in response to economic sanctions. Musk's opinion contradicted that because his private space exploration company SpaceX was equipped to fulfill any needs to keep the station running. In addition, SpaceX has launched a rocket with another 47 satellites for the Starlink network. With Starlinks being delivered to Ukraine, not only will regular Ukrainian civilians and journalists be able to update the world on the situation in real time, but the Ukrainian armed forces can also make use of its capabilities, although it's unconfirmed. It's important to note that an update on the 3rd of March enables Ukrainians to use the Starlink services on the move, which would be a godsend for military commanders out in the field, updating software to reduce peak power consumption, so Starlink can be powered from a car cigarette lighter. Musk also tweeted that mobile roaming is enabled, so phased array antennas can maintain signals while on moving vehicle. Early warning of enemy movements and redeployment, gathering and communicating to the appropriate agency all intelligence information obtained on enemy forces both through electronic and signal intelligence, and providing fast and efficient communication links to own and other friendly forces deployed against the enemy are some of the tasks that military-use satellites can be used for that have a direct impact on the operational capability of owned forces. All of these activities can be performed by ground-based systems. However, satellites have a distinct advantage over ground-based systems in that they can increase the coverage area internationally. Furthermore, the enemy would have a far harder time interfering with operational satellites than with intelligence-gathering infrastructure on the ground. Indeed, the Ukrainian armed forces, despite being heavily outnumbered and outgunned by the enemy, are putting up effective resistance. The Ukrainian Air Force is still functioning and capable of launching strikes, which has surprised military observers across the world because the Russian Air Force was expected to soon acquire total control of the skies. Elon Musk has many reasons to be furious with Vladimir Putin, but chief among them recently, his net worth was projected to be above $200 billion before the start of the war. Following that, the world stock markets were in chaos, the prices dropping in lockstep with the momentum. The price of Tesla stock fell in lockstep with the rest of the market. Tesla stock was trading at $834.50 when the market started on February 22nd, but it fell to $831.39 on February 23rd, and has been in free fall since then. Therefore, it's easy to understand that there are several good reasons for him to launch himself in support of the Ukrainian war effort. However, the story only gets more interesting. The head of the Russian space effort, Dmitry Rogozin, took issue with Musk's support of Ukraine and the economic sanctions levied against the state in general. Even though Musk is opposing Russia, he has stuck to his morals, namely his utter belief in the freedom of information. As a result, he has not joined information sanctions against Russia, and thereby deprives common Russians access to free information, and non-Russians of looking at the Russian state's perspective as well. Despite requests from several governments, he declared that his company will not limit access to Russian media outlets on its Starlink internet infrastructure. Starlink has been told by some governments, not Ukraine, to block Russian news sources. Musk wrote on Twitter on March 5th, adding that they would not do so unless at gunpoint. According to Newsweek, certain internet companies such as Google and Microsoft have worked to restrict Russian media channels, such as the state-run RT network and Sputnik. But Musk's statement hinted that Starlink would not block individual Russian news organizations. In his remarks, he apologized for being a free speech absolutist. Either way, it must be noted that his opposition to Putin's invasion has seemingly got him saying things no one in their right mind would ever expect from him. As the most prominent example, he stated that global oil production needs to increase, because sustainable alternatives cannot replace Russian output. He advocated for an immediate rise in oil and gas production around the world. He went on to say that while rising oil and gas production will hurt Tesla, sustainable energy solutions can't react quickly enough to compensate for Russian oil and gas exports. We are entering highly uncertain times, and yet again, Musk finds himself in the thick of it. Let's see how well it progresses in the end. What do you think about Musk's involvement in the Russian-Ukraine war? Let us know in the comment section below.